divine. What made you feel that the two of you could do it? Like, what was it about your personalities that gelled and made it work?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think that Rose and I really came from very different backgrounds, but I think that we were both kind of confident people. We were risk takers. We thought, let's do this. I would say the thing about Rose and I is that we raised our children the same way, we voted the same way, and we had kind of the same sense of humor, and I think that got us through a lot. And we both kind of decided in the very early days that we would never have an argument. We would disagree. We would often not agree on issues. But we thought, we'll never have something that is said that we could remember 10 years later that we regretted. And so I think that got us through a lot.
When you didn't agree with each other, how did you approach that then?
Oh, I used to say that I just gave up. I did whatever Rose wanted, but she probably wished a year would say the same. But I think we didn't have that many issues, I think because, try this pizza. This is a very cheesy one. This is with taleggio, and this is kind of more sophisticated. Taleggio cheese is quite a salty cheese from the north. We simply roll out the pizza dough very thin, and it has thyme, and sometimes you put potatoes on it.
It's a dream. So Rose was a strong-willed partner.
I'd say so. But I probably am too. I mean, I think I just respected her so much. I think we both respected each other. And we knew that this was such an adventure, This was such a big deal. I think her youngest might have been 12 or 13. Daddy, her youngest, of 4. But I had a child who was 3 at the time. So that was a bit more challenging for me.
And I suppose with being friends, I suppose one of the advantages that would be that perhaps you would understand one another's lives and the other commitments you have.
Being friends and being women. I don't think I ever looked at Rose or she looked at me when one of us said that look at sort of 3 o'clock and said, I have to go. One of my kids is, and usually it was me because I had a 3-year-old. I think at the time Rose was really ready to start working again. I think that she was really passionate about working. I probably still passionate. So she can't go home.
She was 10 years older, so she was a little bit ahead of you in the journey of life.
Exactly.
So you had said there's a wisdom that she brought to the partnership.
Experience, wisdom.
You mentioned how Rose was difficult to say no to.
Yeah, like stopping the car. We could be driving, through the hills of Tuscany, and she'd say, stop, and it would be because she'd seen some wild fennel growing. She could see it from the road, from the car driving 40 miles an hour.
And she'd leap out and pick
Leap out the car and pick it, We once brought the whole pumpkin back that she'd found, and we had to buy a seat for it on British Airways.
Tell me that story. What happened?
I always say, we were in the market in Florence, and it was hard to get a lot of the ingredients that we got. I used to come back with wheels of Parmesan cheese, or we'd come back with olive oil, or in the very, very early days. And I remember there was the chance in the autumn, it was probably October, of having this incredible pumpkin, but it was so big, and Rose was just, we were going to make the plate. She said, let's take it, we'll just check it in. And of course they wouldn't check it in, they had to carry it on. And so, the legend is that we bought a seat for the pumpkin. I'm not 100% sure that we did that, but anyway, we know that the pumpkin came home in business class and we came home in economy. But I think it was more probably a question of the British Airways staff, again in those days, there was a bit more lax security and saying, okay, she was very charming, very persuasive.
The fact that this restaurant has been so successful, do you think part of that is the fact that you were friends doing it together? Do you think that gives you an extra oomph?
Well, huge. I think, I always say that something that you always, if you can get it, you can achieve it, and if you have it or you inherit, is trust. it's more important than love, you know, and I did love Rose, but I think if you have that inherent sense of trust that the person you're working with will respond in a crisis or in a situation to something that you agree with, then having that trust is very important. So we worked together from 1987 till 2010 when she died, and it was a trajectory of different experiences, from starting from writing our first cookbook, then a second cookbook, then a third, then a fourth, traveling together, to have different interests.
You also had a TV series together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And I wonder, did the producers see the on-screen chemistry? Do you think they saw that your friendship could translate into on-screen chemistry? And did?
Yeah, I think they did, because we did that together. And again, Rose was very dramatic.
When we opened the River Cafe, we wanted to cook the kind of food that we'd eaten in Italy.
The Italian Kitchen was an Ideal World production for the UK's Channel 4.
Over the next 6 weeks, we're going to show you how to cook at home some of these favourite recipes.
The programme followed their travels around Italy as the two friends sourced ingredients and gave step-by-step instructions as to how to recreate their dishes.
Just the pasta. Very clumsy this morning. I was doing that. Yes, I can almost tell. Perfect.
She would take a piece of pasta, of spaghetti, and dangle it over her mouth, and tip it up and eat it. She had a lot of confidence in front of the camera, and so she was great. I like to think that we have values that we had from the very first day we opened, and that the greatest tribute to Rose, as I always say, is that she would walk in right now and be so excited. She wouldn't go, oh my God, what have they been doing? Well, she might, but I think she would be proud.
Well, in 2010, you were honoured by the Queen, awarded an MBE, Member of the Order of the British Empire, in recognition of what you'd achieved together. What did that mean to you both?
Neither of us were royalists, I have to say, but we were so excited. It was really amazing. And Rose was very sick at the time, and she had brain cancer that had spread from breast cancer. And I remember when we got the honor, I think it was going to be given in April. It was probably November. I talked to her family and I said, I think maybe we should try and get it moved to the schedule in February. Let's get that moved. And she said, no. I'm not well. I'm just not well. I'm not well now. I'm just doing another round of chemo. So let's do it when I'm better. Let's go in April. Sadly, and she said, and we're going to wear Chanel suits to the palace. Which is, again, Rose wasn't a royalist. She didn't probably ever have a Chanel piece of clothing in her cupboard. But
she had a sense of occasion.
Yeah, and she was excited. And so I think I ended up going to the palace with David, her husband, and Rose didn't.
And how did you feel receiving that award without the woman who's achieved everything with you beside you?
Broken-hearted.
How did you manage to carry on the restaurant without her?
Well, there are two choices. You don't carry on or you carry on. And I could have closed and said, it's end of an era, we've done this, we've done that. But I think that was never an option. It was never an option. Because why would we? And I always say it was a bit like being a single parent, but I had 100 children, maybe at that time 80 children. And they weren't my children, they were my colleagues, but there was a sense of responsibility. And when things happen badly here, when something happens, it always puts it into perspective, because I said, oh no, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? This is terrible. How are we going to find a way of getting it? And I go, you know what? Rose died. Nothing could have been either as imaginable or as consequential as that. you know, so it kind of puts a lot into perspective.
Ruthie Rogers remembering her friend and business partner, Rose Gray. This is The Food Chain from the BBC World Service. I'm Ruth Alexander, talking to two big names in food about the friendships that helped make it all happen.
Antonio!
Yeah.
Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here! Oh, Antonio, I find that the mushroom so brilliant. Antonio?
Antonio is Antonio Carlucci, the late restaurateur and chef, out foraging for mushrooms in Italy with his colleague, friend and fellow mushroom enthusiast Gennaro Cataldo for the BBC TV series Two Greedy Italians, made by Fresh One Productions in 2011.
Collect them. Bring some to me.
Antonio, there's so many!
Are you a donkey? You can carry them.
Today, Gennaro is a well-known chef and author of numerous cookbooks. His latest is Gennaro's Veggiere. He moved to the UK from Italy in 1969 and had found work as a chef, but tired of it. Then one day, in the 1980s, he was watching a cooking show which would change the course of his life.
One day I saw Antonio on a TV program and he was making a sardine with a bread cloud. And I looked at it. I think very exciting. I had to make that. But anyway, what a lovely man. Very proud and Italian on TV. And then it was next time I saw him in the supplement magazine. It could have been The Time or some other newspaper. He was holding these massive mushrooms on his hands. Ah, I said, he loved it. So, 2 weeks later, I come down with a massive basket full of mushrooms. And I brought them into the restaurant. I said, hey, Antonio. I said, I never met you. He asked my name. I said, yes. I said, oh, yes. He said, oh, mushrooms. I said, you understand? I said, of course I understand.
And these are mushrooms you picked yourself?
Picked myself, yeah. He said, don't worry, you don't have to do long evening or anything. You just have to be with me and then we can naturally bring out the beautiful recipe. So I accepted.
You became like his right-hand man.
That's what he kept saying. I would say, no, right hands, left hands, you want my leg? I'll say, look, because everything he was doing, I was doing.
At what point would you say you became friends?
I think we became friends after a few months. There was something which attracted us so much because we used to like the same thing I had and we used to understand. So he was the father figure to me. Our relationship was extremely close.
So there was trust between you?
I was in great trust between them. Unbelievable trust. Whenever we were filming, I had to go with him.
You made a television series together, didn't you, in 2011 and 2012? It looks like you're covering your face with your hands, but it looked like you were having enormous fun together.
It was so much fun. And sometimes we don't know what we were doing. Actually, not sometimes. Most of the time. I remember when we started filming, and they tried to give us a line to filming. You know, what we had to say, where we had to go, where things. And I didn't even look.
That's the producer or the director of the show. Here's your script, this is what's happening.
Things to say. We never took any notice. Don't worry, the sauce is no burden. I am cooking, I am in charge, you eating.
And you say you got on? You were friends? Are you sure?
Friend and more than friend. There was like twins when they're born they have to stay together. This is so close. I miss it. Unbelievable missed it. Oh God, have I missed it especially. Anyway, off we going, and then at the end they got so caught up in the director. She started to swear and said, let it do whatever they want to do. looked around. I said, we go anywhere. And this is what we do. When you actually watch those programs, that is real.
It must have been a nightmare for the producers to handle you two. You were just having great fun doing your thing, and they were just trailing behind you trying to make the program.
We were enjoying it. You know, it's two oldish boy going holiday. For us, it was holiday. For 3 years, it was holiday. Like a yeah, I'm not afraid.
Two friends on holiday.
It was a joy. It is a joy, incredible, joyful. You know, we couldn't wait to leave England and to go in Italy and discover at the same time we were discovering new things. We really went for it. And that we did like something, we did like it together. And it was good, it was really good.
And then, very sadly, in 2017, Antonio died. It made headline news.
I was bad.
How would you describe the loss you felt personally?
I can't remember that moment. I just cannot remember that moment. It was like somebody comes and give you a knife on the shoulder or on the chest. I felt kind of a sadness. For a fraction of seconds, so many memories went through. A flash of a memory of 20, 35 years that went one after the other, and I dropped everything. I left everything straight to the sea, Antonio. It was bad. I missed it. God, I missed it. It was more than a friend. It was more than a friend. It was pure friend. Increased knowledge and food. He knew what he talked about. I used to listen to him. Was extremely close. Extremely close.
When you're filming today, publishing books, cooking, do you still think of Antonio?
All the time. And we still use his books for reference. All the time. But did you know what? I dream Antonio most every night. I think last night I dreamt him with this red suit, very short, tight suit, he was standing like that, with a hat on, and he tried to play football. This is last night. When you travel the world with a person, and very close, and something happened, you missed it. You missed it. Now there is so many things which I'm doing. Many times I wish Antonio was here. We could have gone together. And wherever I'm going, they always imagine Antonio. Do you know, I have a picture with me every time I go around to do the show.
A picture
of Antonio.
Of Antonio.
Oh yeah, Antonio, yes. I always have a picture of Antonio Carluccio. I find a comfort to have a picture of him. In Italy, we are like that. When somebody passed away, and a very good friend, they always give a little picture of him. You put it in a purse, or you put it in a jacket, or a coat. Sometimes you forget, but I cannot forget the man of 35 years together.
What would you say the legacy of that friendship, that partnership you enjoyed is?
The legacy that we enjoy? Oh, I don't know what to say, because the legacy, we passed it on. I am sure we passed it on to many people.
You've also had a successful partnership with the chef Jamie Oliver. Would you say that you know, things you learned from Antonio passed through you onto Jamie?
Yes, many things passed me to Jamie. Jamie is like a son. I said, I got so much experience. I have to give it to somebody. And Jamie was the perfect person to pass it on.
What's it been like watching your protege, Jamie's career take off?
I love it. Do you know what? I look at him and everything he's doing. I feel like if I'm him, the way he's doing, I just feel that's me. Yes, do, yeah, that's me. It's a little bit of me in him. And we done a lovely shot together, me and Jamie. And I always feel so pleased because with him, he can take over and I relax.
Sounds perfect partnership. It's been lovely to hear about these two close friendships you've enjoyed. Do you think there's something about working with food that means professional relationships can quickly become friendships and really close, firm friendships?
I'll tell you in one word, yes, it is. And you know what it is? Sharing. It's like you eating a pizza. You're sharing with a friend you most love.
Gennaro Contaldo. Thanks to him and to Ruthie Rogers for sharing the story of their food friendships. Have you got a best friend in food? We'd love to hear about your partnership, platonic or romantic. You can email the food chain at bbc.co.uk and maybe we'll feature your story here on the food chain. From me and the rest of the team, Beatrice Pickup and Hannah Bewley, thanks for listening and join us again next week.
This is the BBC World Service, where Mike Lanshan is on the trail of El Salvador's missing children.
During the country's brutal civil war, hundreds of